Okay, I think we're working and it's live. Class doesn't start for another 18 or so minutes. I just wanted to hop on early to test the sound, as I know there were some technical challenges last week, but I think we're good. So I'm just going to leave the space open for just under another 20 minutes. So you have plenty of time to roll out your mat. I'm really grateful and excited to be here teaching with you. There's also a playlist link in the comments right there. So if you like to practice with music, you can click that and just get yourself cozy. You got plenty of time. I think you can hear me. I'll leave this open and get yourself comfortable. Make a little shift so you can go from whatever you were doing to yoga. I'll see you in a little bit. Some of you are there. Okay. So we still have about 3-4 minutes till we start. But I would love to hear where you're all joining from. So you can use the comments there to first let me know that you can hear me okay. And then second, to just chime in and introduce yourself, say where you're practicing from, if you want. Again, there is a playlist link at the top of the comments if you want some music for class today. And we don't have any definite plans for a prop today, but it's never a bad idea to have like a house cushion around, or if you don't have a block. And you might use a strap today if you have one. If not, you can just grab a t-shirt or something kind of loose. All right. If someone could give me one thumbs up that you can hear me okay, I'll know that we're good for class. Oh, hi, Tiffany. Yeah, you can hear me. Awesome. Hi, Kate. Where in Australia are you from? I used to live in Melbourne for 5 years. I love Australia so much. Thanks for letting me know I can hear you. Hi, Kate's from Minnesota. I hope you're doing well. I am in Colorado right now. That's where I'm teaching you from. It's where I've come to kind of ride out this virus. Oh, Melbourne. Awesome. I lived in Fitzroy and Brunswick for 5 good years of my life when I was younger. Hey, Amanda from Canada. Hi, Diane from Parker. Amazing. It's so cool to hear where everyone's joining from. It's a treat to be here. It gave me an excuse to shower and get myself together today and do some yoga myself. How's everyone doing out there today? How are we holding up in these weird, unusual times? It feels good to practice yoga together. We got about one more minute or so. If anyone has any last kind of special requests, we'll get into the shoulders and the hips nicely today, but if there was anything someone was dying to do, you've got 30 seconds to tell me. Otherwise, I'll do my best to have you feeling good. Yeah, I started the stream early today. We had some sound trouble, some live streaming nightmare situations last time, but you can hear me. We're good to practice. All right. We'll give it one more minute. Hey, Patricia. Thanks for joining us from Denver. I'm up in Grand Lake, so it's about maybe 2.5 hours away. It was snowing here today. It's still really, really cold. No, I don't have an Australian. I'm a New Yorker originally, but my accent got all sorts of weird after living in Australia for 5 years. Thanks, Tiff. Yeah, it's beautiful up here. All right, it's 4:31. I want to be respectful of your time. It's so nice to hear where you're joining from. My name is Keith. I teach on Yoga Download. You can enjoy any class or membership on the site with the code Keith50. So you have classes anytime. Otherwise, we're going to have these regularly on YouTube and Facebook, and they're for free. So come and get started. We're going to come into a comfortable seat on your mat. Right? So if you prefer to sit cross-legged, if that's better for your knees, do so. Otherwise, you can sit in Virasana on your knees and sit up nice and tall. And we're going to just spend a minute or two here to ground. So feel your hips get heavy, your tailbone start to anchor down, and then feel a slight lift in your heart, a lift up through the top of your head. And if it feels okay, close your eyes and take a big breath into the center of your chest through your nose. Breathe in even more at the top here. And a big open mouth exhale. Don't be afraid to make some sound. Let your shoulders relax. Let your face start to relax. Really go empty on your exhale. Let's do one more like that. Big breath in. Complete breath out. And on your own, as you seal your lips, in and out of your nose, just simply feel your inhale come in. Relax more as your exhale leaves. Nothing overcomplicated, simply feel every breath come in and out. And start to shift from your outer focus, whatever it was that was happening in your day, of focusing on the outer world, and allow your breath to take you in for the next 30 minutes. You get 30 minutes to yourself to take care of yourself, to focus solely inwards. Another 30 seconds or so on your own. Just arrive, be here right now and breathe. Full, slow exhales. Take 2 more. Invite your hands to the space in front of your heart. And as you take a couple more breaths here, there's a choice to set an intention or ask for what you need from your time on your mat today. If nothing comes, don't force it. Otherwise, it could be a simple word like joy or peace, or a specific intention. Seal it in with 1 or 2 more breaths. Good. Have a beautiful practice, everyone. Give yourself a bow for showing up. Often the hardest part of class, and we're going to get right into it, into downward facing dog, Paschimottanasana. So send your hips high up and back. Right, and for this first one, feel into it. Walk out your dog if you need, pedal out each leg. But that breath that you just spent time creating, keep it just as deep as it was when you were sitting. Let your head and neck relax. You might shake it out, yes and no. Slow exhales, and then we'll stabilize. Root your inner hands, your thumb and index fingers down more. Press your chest further back towards your thighs. And then bend your knees a little. Tilt your hips up and back. And then let your heels get heavier. Take 4 more deep breaths here. Really press with your inner hands. Feel your spine lengthen in 2 directions. Lengthen your tailbone back and up. And 1 more cleansing breath here. Inhale through your nose into the back of your heart. Open mouth, sigh, let it out. A deep breath in. And as you exhale, simply step your right foot into a lunge at the top of your mat. Drop to your back knee and come onto your right thigh with your hands. And so you can keep the back toes under. I prefer to take the top of the foot down and always pad if you need for your knee. Steady your eyes to 1 point and then inhale. Back away, keep your heart, your gaze lifted. And exhale, lunge in a little deeper. 1 more time. Inhale. Take a lion's breath. Exhale out your mouth. No one can see you. So stay this low. Press the top of your left foot down, top of your left toes. Send your tailbone towards your right thigh, or right heel rather. You can barely see it. And then take your arms up into a steeple grip. So your pointer fingers extend, your thumbs cross. We're still warming up here. Inhale, lift your heart up, look slightly up, and exhale, start to lean over and back. But don't overdo it. Use your breath. Inhales, lift and lengthen. Exhale, lean over and back. Start to squeeze your palms together. Continue to lunge forwards. It's like you're leaning over a beach ball. One more exhale. Let your heart melt back a little more. Good, and inhale, come back up. Release your hands down. Give yourself a moment here. Good, and then toe heel your right foot to the outside of your hands. Find a little bit of motion here as we get into the hips for the first time. And then lizard pose, 5 deep breaths. You can keep it gentle with your back knee down, or curl your toes under, lift your back knee, lengthen your heart forward, squeeze your heels together. Take 3 breaths into the back of your hips now. Yoga is really about the breath. Every single pose, just find that rhythm of your breath coming in. Notice if you can soften your grip where you're opening as you breathe out. Good. Drop to your back knee, and then inhale, 3-legged downward facing dog. So we'll spend some time here. Continue to root your hands, and at first, just keep your right leg straight behind you. Pull your left hip crease back. Let your left heel get heavier. And now start to open up through your right hip. At the same time, drop your right shoulder. Breathe, press out through your right foot. Good, inhale through center. And downward facing dog. Breathe out. Breath in and breath out. Deep inhale. No leg lift. Exhale, step your left foot between your hands, drop to your right knee, and come onto your left thigh. So you can choose what you did on the first side with your back foot. Steady your eyes, inhale back out. Exhale, go in. Again, inhale. Exhale. Good, stay this low. If you stayed here on the first side, do so. Otherwise, reach your arms up. Take the opposite pinky on top. Inhale. Press your right toes down. Lift your heart. Look up. Keep that lift, and exhale. Start to go over and back. So think of it as a spine lengthener more than a back bend again. Inhales, lift your heart. Exhales, keep that length, lean back more. Take one more full breath cycle. Squeeze your palms together. Look up. Good, inhale, come up. Release your hands down. Take a moment, let your spine acclimate. And then take it to lizard. Take your left foot out. Your toes can point out. Make sure your knee is in the same direction. And if you did on the first side, lift your back knee. Notice if your head drops here. Really lengthen forwards, look forwards, and press your inner left heel down. 3 breaths into your hips here. Slow down your exhales. Press back firmly through your right heel. Your heart goes forwards. One more lion's breath. Full exhale. Let something go. 3-legged dog. Keep your left leg straight back to start and point your left toes down. Root down through your hands. Pull your right hip back. Breathe. And then start to open up through your left hip. Keep your left fingertips rooted. Press out through your left heel. Come back through center and back through downward facing dog. Good, down dog. Deep breath in. Full exhale. Deep inhale. And then walk to Malasana. frog squat at the top of your mat. So your feet come to the outside of your hands and your hands come to heart. So you want your heels down, even if that means you're up here, right? Being up here is better than being here with the heels lifted. So find your setup, start to lean your chest back and breathe into your hips here. Maybe even close your eyes, 3 deep breaths. You're working, but notice if you can also relax into your hips. And then exhale, take your fingers down, toe heel your feet to hip distance. And then take a few moments to pedal out your legs. Let your head and neck relax. And then we're going to spend several breaths in ragdoll with your fingers on the earth. So to start, bend your knees a lot so your torso almost touches your thighs. Let your head and neck go. And don't even think about your hamstrings yet. Let this weight of your head, of your chest start to create length throughout your lower back. Full exhales and really let the weight of your upper body and gravity create the stretch and the opening here. If over the next 3 to 5 breaths you feel like you want to start warming up your legs, start to make your legs a little bit straighter. And at the same time, press the roots of your feet down just a little bit more so you make it more of a leg stretch. 2 more breaths here. Last exhale. Good. And then inhale, lift up halfway. Fingers to your shins, thighs, or the earth. Really press your heels down, lengthen your heart away from your tailbone. 1 more breath in here. And exhale, forward bend. Inhale, reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. Look up, turn your palms to face each other. Right? Press your feet down to lengthen your heart up more. And then grab your left wrist with your right hand. Pull your low ribs in. Inhale, get taller. And go over to your right as you breathe out. Good. Pull your front ribs toward your back body. Press your left heel down more. 1 more exhale here. Inhale back through center. Switch your grip. Get taller, strong legs here. And exhale up and over to the other side. So again, notice if this happens, pull this back. Press your right heel and start to pull. Last breath out. Inhale through center. And exhale, interlace your hands behind you now. Let's do this. We'll get into the shoulders some more. Give your shoulders a couple rolls if they need it. Inhale. Now pull your fist down. Lift your heart. Strong legs here. Lead with your heart. Open your throat open. Start to bow forwards, out, and down. Chest expansion. Deep breath in. And now bend your left knee and start to twist and look up and over to your right. For more sensation in your right leg, press your right heel down more. Each exhale, start to turn your gaze a little more towards the ceiling. And we'll switch sides. Come back through center, switch your grip, and exhale to the other side. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, turn the right side of your heart up more. Press your left heel down, let your head go, breathe. Come back through center. Take your hands to your low back, then to the earth. Bring your big toes to touch. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Sit your hips low. Utkatasana. Chair. So we built fire which helps us throughout the rest of the practice. So as you sit your hips lower, reach higher, look slightly up. Start to breathe here into the center of your chest. Sit lower, 3 breaths. Stay calm, even in the sensation here. Deep breath in. And forward fold. Breathe out. Halfway lift, inhale. Plank pose, exhale. So high push-up position, you can always drop to your knees if that's better. Otherwise, strong legs look forward. Deep breath in. Good, and then exhale, chaturanga, or lower all the way down for cobra. Inhale, upward dog or cobra pose, 3 breaths here. Press your toes down, lift your heart. Start to lean your chest back, lift up through the crown of your head. 1 more inhale. Downward facing dog. Exhale. 5 deep breaths here. Stay in your rhythm. Deep breath in. Full breath out. A few more. Stay with it. Let's do an inhale through your nose. And an open mouth sigh out your mouth. Good. Now drop down to your knees. And keep your hips right above your knees and your palms right under your shoulders. And take 3 rounds of cat-cow on your own. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. 2 more. And exhale. Good. So we're going to set up dolphin pose. This is a harder pose in your upper body, but 5 breaths, it'll build a lot of strength and really improve your posture around your collarbones and your chest. So to find the setup, come onto your forearms and grab opposite elbows just to measure the width and take your fingers out in front of you. If this is too much, stick with down dog. Otherwise, curl your toes under. Begin to lift your hips high and press the earth away from you. Let your head and neck go. Start to breathe into the back of your heart. Press down equally in your elbows and your fingertips. And yoga teaches us to stay calm, even when there's intensity. And this can help us off the mat. 2 more breaths. Continue to lift your tailbone up. Good, and then drop down to your knees and take an embryo pose. So it's child's pose with your arms by your side. Let that go. Full exhales here. Good. And then take your knees further apart. So stay in child's pose. You can always put padding under your knees if this is a sensitive one. And then with your head down, just start to walk your hands over to your right. And you can even take your left fingers on top, but kind of interlace your fingers here. Keep your left hip pulled back. And take 3 breaths to open that line between your left hip crease and your left fingertips. Come back through center. Walk it to the other side. Grab your opposite fingers if they're available, if that felt good. Otherwise, palms on the earth works. And then continue to pull your right hip back till you have just enough sensation to breathe into it. Good. And then find your way back through center. Crawl yourself back into a tabletop position here. We're going to thread the needle and kind of open the shoulders in the opposite way. So very often we open them backwards. We're going to widen them. So take your left arm up as you breathe in. And as you exhale, thread your left hand under your right. Come to your left temple. Back of your left hand is down. Right? So you can stay here and breathe. For more sensation, walk your fingers slightly forward with your elbow bent. And you can start to crawl your right fingers back. 3 breaths into the back of your heart now. And come back through center with your right arm, and then inhale your left arm way up. And exhale it down. We'll do the other side. Take your right arm up, thread it underneath you, come to your right temple. And if it felt good to go a little deeper, bend your left elbow and start to crawl those fingers back. But make it about your breathing. See how wide you can feel your shoulder blades go. Good. Come back through center with your left hand. Take your right arm up. And then exhale it down. Good. Now, come onto your seat. And shift so your legs come straight out in front of you for Paschimottanasana, seated forward bend. So this is an excellent one, either to bend your knees a little, to sit up, or to sit on a block or a cushion. Press your heels down, whichever shape you're in. Inhale. Reach your arms up. Look slightly up. And then exhale. Lead with your heart. Start to bend forwards, out, and down. And then maybe you grab your outer feet. Perhaps your big toes. Inhale, spine length. Broaden across your chest. And then exhale. Bow in more. Eventually let your head and neck go. Each breath in, pull out a little bit, and then exhale, melt in. You've got several deep breaths here. So every pose, you want to find that point where there's a little bit of effort, definitely some sensation. And you can also breathe and relax into it. So see if you can find that sweet spot, effort and ease in this pose right here. Notice where things can open around your tailbone. 2 more exhales, melt in. This is said to be the most grounding posture in yoga. It opens your root chakra, Muladhara, right at the base of your tailbone. It's our survival instinct area. Take 1 more breath out. See if you can relax in this very detailed part of your body. 1 more breath out. And then as you come back up, take your time. Take both feet down, your arms in front of you. And then for a count of 3, keep your core engaged as you lower down. For 2, keep your heart lifted. For 1, and then eventually find yourself down. Good. So we're going to do a twist with eagle legs. We'll actually do bridge first. Bring your feet in so your heels are near your glutes. If you prefer wheel and you have it in your practice, go for it. Otherwise, put more weight on your inner feet Start to lift your hips and then interlace your hands at the base of your sacrum. Right? And as you press your inner feet, lift your hips higher. Spin your inner elbows down. Stay wide in the back of your neck. If you're in wheel, continue to make your legs strong. Power is in your inner feet. One more exhale. Release your hands. Keep your tailbone lifted up. Make that the last thing to lower as you start to lower one vertebra at a time. Good. And just take a moment. Let your knees rest in on each other. Take a hand to your heart and one to your belly. And just kind of feel good energy going from your hands back into your body. Do one more good hip opener and twist to finish. So for Gomukhasana legs, you'll take your right knee on top of your left and then bend your knees, lift your heels, grab your outer feet, right? So you might have your outer shins instead. If you can grab your heels, great. Do your best to get your low back towards the mat. Flex your toes, especially your pinky toes towards your shin. And then there's a lot of opposite actions. You want to both press your feet into your hands and at the same time pull your heels apart from each other. Find a healthy edge and take 3 deep breaths into your hips. Full exhales. Relax into your hips. One more breath out. Good, so to come out, listen carefully. You can transition into more of an eagle leg shape. So you might get the double wrap with your right toes behind your left calf. You might not. Doesn't matter so much. Take your arms out. And then drop your hips over, your knees rather, over to your left and start to look over to your right. You can bump your hips slightly, right? Right, if eagle legs doesn't work, you can unwrap your legs and just have your knees stacked on each other. Passive twist. One more exhale. Good, come back through center. And then switch it out. Good. Take your left knee on top, flex your toes, grab your outer shins, your outer feet. And as you start to track your low back down, press your feet into your hands. And at the same time, use your hands to pull your heels outwards in opposite directions. Feel that space in your hips and breathe there. Relax there. Good, to come out. Come into more of an eagle leg shape. Good, and then you'll drop your knees to your right, bump your hips slightly to your left. And you can start to look left into your passive twist here. 3 deep exhales. Let this start to go. You're doing great. Relax into your twist. Good. Come back through center when you're ready. Give yourself any squeeze, any hug that you might need. Right? If you like an inversion or happy baby or any last pose to end your practice, go for it. I'll give you about a minute here. Right? And that might be just a simple hugging of your knees. That's a nice hip opener in and of itself. Headstand, happy baby pose. And start to close out your practice. If you feel satisfied, start to make your way into final Shavasana. If you're not there yet, don't rush. Right? Give yourself time in whichever pose you're in. And that'll be our next pose. And if you are in final Shavasana, start to let your bones relax onto your mat. Begin to relax all of the muscles in your face. And take one more big breath right into the center of your chest through your nose. Breathe in more. Little pause. And a big sigh out. Let everything go. And just bask in the stillness of this moment. It's only here one time. Relax all the cells of your body. Notice where your muscles can let go. Nothing to do. I want to be respectful of your time today. It's 4 minutes past the start of the hour. Thank you all so much for being here. I could feel your good energy. It's really a treat and an honor to teach you. Look after yourselves. I hope to see you on your mat soon. I've got a bunch of classes on Yoga Download. Again, you can use the code KEITH50 for half off anything, or keep joining us for these live classes. Give us some feedback in the comments. Lots of love. Be well. Namaste. Give yourself more time in Shavasana if you have it too.